The story of Jesus Christ in 60 seconds. Okay, so we all know that Jesus is the Son of God. He was born of a virgin, raised by Joseph and Mary, performed many miracles, including turning water into wine, feeding 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, healing the blind, raising the dead, calming the storm. But most importantly, he taught people to love their enemies and to pray for those who persecute them. Now, as a carpenter by trade, Jesus made a lot of stuff out of wood, including the cross that he died on. At the age of 33, he was crucified between 2 thieves, one on his right and one on his left. The right thief mocked him, saying, "If you're so powerful, save yourself and us." But the left thief realized who Jesus really was. So he turned to Jesus and said, "Remember me when you're in your kingdom." And Jesus replied, "Today you will be with me in paradise." That's pretty cool. So before Jesus died, he told his followers to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that he had commanded. And then he ascended into heaven, promising to send them the Holy Spirit and to come back for them. And in the meantime, they should go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Now, this group of people who followed Jesus were called the apostles. And there were 12 of them. And one of them, Peter, denied knowing Jesus 3 times before the rooster crowed. But Jesus told Peter, "Don't be sad. You will never be an effective preacher if you don't forgive yourself. Go and do likewise." And so Peter went on to become the leader of the church. After Jesus ascended, believers began to gather in Jerusalem for the Feast of Pentecost. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven like the rush of a mighty wind, and it filled the house where they were sitting. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were many other signs too, like the ability to heal the sick. Now, the first person to write about these events was Matthew, who wrote his gospel about 55 AD. Then Mark wrote his gospel about 50 years later. Luke, who was a doctor, wrote his gospel about the same time as Matthew. And John wrote his gospel about 90 AD. These 4 books are called the Synoptic Gospels, along with Acts, Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians, Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. This group of 27 books is called the New Testament. Now, outside of the Bible, we have the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contain the oldest known manuscripts of the Old and New Testaments, as well as other ancient writings. We also have the writings of Roman historians like Tacitus and Suetonius, as well as the Jewish historian Josephus, who all mention Jesus and the events surrounding his life. For more information, check out the links below. And remember, you are awesome. Thanks for watching. See you next time.